word of life.
We all know the story of Noah's Ark, right? The animals, the giant boat, the endless rain. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens after the rain stops? Well, that's what we're diving into today, the final chapter. It's this incredible story of survival, patience, and the dawn of a whole new world. So after months and months of being adrift on this silent, endless ocean, everything, and I mean everything, changes with just 4 simple words. And God remembered Noah. Now, this isn't just a casual thought. It's the pivotal moment, the action that sets a new world in motion. A wind starts to sweep over the earth, the waters finally begin to recede, and for the first time in a very long time, hope is back on the table. So the tide is turning, but let's be clear, this is no quick fix. The end of the flood is an epic, months-long process. It's a true test of endurance for Noah, his family, and every single creature aboard that ark. This timeline really puts the immense scale of this weight into perspective. I mean, for 150 days, the waters are just beginning to go down. It's not until the 7th month that the ark finally grinds to a halt on the mountains of Ararat. But even then, they're still surrounded by water, waiting another 3 months just to catch a glimpse of the tops of other mountains. Just try to imagine that slow, gradual reveal of a world being reborn. Okay, so mountain peaks are visible, but the valleys? Who knows what's down there? Noah's now facing his next huge challenge. He can't just throw open the door and hope for the best. He needs proof, real proof, that the earth is actually habitable again. And that kicks off this really careful, methodical search. Seriously, put yourself in his shoes for a second. You've been cooped up in a floating zoo for nearly a year. The silence outside is probably deafening. How on earth do you know it's safe to leave? You need a sign, right? Something tangible? Basically, Noah needed a scout. His first test is to send out a raven. The text says it flew to and fro, which kind of suggests it found places to land here and there, but it never came back to the ark. The result is interesting, but it's ambiguous. It's just not the definitive sign Noah's looking for. So he's going to need a different kind of messenger. And this is where the famous dove comes in, for what is really a brilliant 3-part test. The first time he sends the dove out, and it comes right back. Nothing. Nowhere to land. A week later, he tries again. This time, it returns with an olive leaf in its beak. Huge news. Then, after another 7 days, he sends it out one final time. And it doesn't come back. The message is crystal clear. The olive leaf. This isn't just any old twig. Think about it. It's the very first sign of new growth. It's the first piece of concrete evidence that life is actually returning to this devastated planet. This is the moment where that abstract hope finally becomes a tangible reality. So, with that confirmation, the long, long wait inside the ark is finally over. It is time. Time to unseal that door, take those first shaky steps back onto solid ground, and begin the monumental task of reclaiming the entire earth. You know, the account is incredibly specific here. On the very first day of his 601st year, a full year after this whole thing began, Noah removes the covering of the ark and sees it with his own 2 eyes. The ground is dry. This reminds us this wasn't just some short storm. It was an ordeal that took up more than a year of his life. So what does Noah do first? I think his actions really set the tone for this new world. He uncovers the ark and leads everyone out, his family, every single living creature. He gives them a simple, powerful command: be fruitful and multiply. But before anything else, before he even thinks about building a shelter or planting a field, his very first act is to build an altar and offer thanks, gratitude, right from the start. That's the foundation of this new beginning. And this act of gratitude, it leads directly to the story's really powerful and permanent resolution. This isn't just an ending, you see. It's a new beginning, one that's guaranteed by a promise meant to last for all time. In response to Noah's offering, God makes this covenant. I will not again curse the ground. Neither will I again smite everything living. This is a fundamental shift, a complete game changer. It's a promise that the world itself will be stable and that a global cataclysm like this will never, ever happen again. And the promise, it extends to the very rhythm of life itself. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. It's a promise of stability, of predictability. It's an assurance that the natural cycles we all rely on will continue. After a story defined by absolute chaos, it ends with this enduring promise of order, a rhythm that, of course, continues to this very day.